Amazon, great partner of ours. You're buying sofa. You want to have warranty. When Amazon's attaching it in the booking flow, you might not know where it's coming from, but it's a convenient purchase for you. It's a one click and you're covered. That's convenient for the customer, great for the insurer, and great for the partner because they're having a stickier connection to the end customer.
Today, I'm very excited to have on our show Andy Bodrog, Director of Partnership in CoverGenius, high-growth InsurTech startup which is providing embedded insurance. This is a new type of products working under the hood of different products you might use, such as airlines, Amazon, and so on. And you don't even see it, but it's working under the hood through API. And this is new type of partnerships. And we discussed with Andy how he started in partnership in Lemonade, another amazing InsurTech which went public, how he started building referral partnerships and then moved into embedded partnerships. What are the things that he see up and coming in this new type of API-enabled partnerships, and what are the secrets for success in this new type of world? This is very interesting and then trendy conversation because recently, Bessemer Venture Partners mentioned this embed indirect monetization is number one trend on software as a service market. I think you will learn a lot from this conversation. If you like this content, please hit subscribe, like us, and without further ado, Andy Bodrog. You've been working in great companies such as Lemonade and CoverGenius, so I'm really excited to talk about all of that with you today. But let's sort of start from the very beginning. After LBS, you went to financial services and then sales, and then you transitioned to partnerships. What was behind your motivation of going into partnership career?
It really kind of happened happenstance, to be honest. So I started out at Reuters right after LBS, which was a large organization, and I really did more of like half sales, more customer support, working under the sales team there, and then transitioned to New York to a more of a startup, money.net, and did full-on B2C, B2B sales. And then after that time, for my next role, I wasn't really sure what I would like to do, but of course, sales kind of lent its hand, and I ended up in partnerships at Lemonade, which was to me unbeknownst what that really means. But I quickly found out that that's kind of an area that's really interesting for me and kind of mixes multiple things that I've learned along the way until then.
You was in sales, and there are multiple companies who actually call salespeople sort of partnerships, right? As a sort of marketing trick, nicer touch and less threatening and so on. Yeah. So how do you really differentiate between sales and partnerships, like after a couple of years in partnerships?
I would say that sales, at least the types of sales I did was SaaS sales, selling a financial terminal to banks or financial institutions, was really more of in a silo. You were kind of more working on your own and had a quota and really used the classical tools that everyone really thinks about when they think about sales: cold calling, funnel building, Salesforce, and all kinds of CRMs, talking about the price, the value of the product. It's really all circled and focused around the product of the given company, right? You're an expert at that as a salesperson and trying to pitch constantly to companies, sometimes coming up with discounts, sometimes coming up with ways to make the sale happen, right? And then once the sale happens, it's kind of done. Then you move on to the next. You constantly are on a hunt in a way. With partnerships, I've seen it's more symbiotic. It's more a win-win situation. It's more of uncovering a problem at the partner, at the company, and really more of a consultative approach. You're trying to figure out a way, especially in the embedded world that I am in now, a way for the partner. How can we help you with the given products we have? And often it's a revenue source for the partner. So instead of selling, you're really providing them revenue. So I would say that, and a lot more work happens internally with internal teams that I haven't really seen in the sales roles I've been at before. So once you're in partnership, especially with more complicated products like insurance, you're relying more on internal teams, legal, compliance, account management, etc.
This is a perfect segue. My next question. So you quickly found yourself in Lemonade, which is the first tech insurance unicorn, right? Probably the company which put InsurTech on the map in general. It's very well known, but at the same time, would be interesting to hear from you. What is the Lemonade and like what is the core kind of strengths of the company?
So it's one of the OGs of the InsurTechs. So the whole InsurTech industry, insurance technology is quite new. I would say about 6-7 years at most. The goal is to digitize and innovate the whole value chain of insurance, from buying a policy to the claims, right? From quoting to claims handling. And that's what Lemonade does. It's the one of the few InsurTech carriers, so companies that have their own book and that can create their own products, can price the policies. So it started off with renters insurance and now essentially grew into multiple lines. So it's a multi-carrier, a multi-product carrier, InsurTech, that's international. So that's its claim to fame essentially, and the first one that came out with machine learning, AI chatbot, and kind of a brand mantra that helps with causes. So you can donate your money, your unclaimed money at the end of the year. So the branding behind it is very good. And of course, the policy, the claims experience is also top notch. So that's kind of what Lemonade is. Digitizes the old school kind of dinosaur insurance world where you have brick and mortar agents.
What was your partnership strategy look like in Lemonade? What is the main levers through which company was scaling and which role partnership played in it?
It's really fascinating to join a company at an early age, especially companies that have a high growth after. And companies are still trying to figure out, how do they go to market. So I joined Lemonade in 2017, very early. It's 2 years in the making. 2015 is when they started. And, they just started selling in the US just renters insurance. So as you know, insurance, especially the PNC side, renters, home, auto, usually the large organizations have all of these bundled. And working at a startup that has no name yet in an industry, which, is quite based on brand names and trust, is not easy, especially when their go-to-market strategies is totally different. So it's fully digital. It's focusing on Facebook, Google ads. And then the partnership team was newly created, and it was our job to really figure out how can we distribute these products in a digital manner via partnerships. So really, blank slate is what I would say, how it all started. We had an inkling idea of who might be an ideal partner for renters insurance. So for the company at large, most of the distribution happened in digital ads, Google, Facebook ads. It's a very good, there's a digital marketing team. So they had partnership with blogs, with newspapers, anything online, and then ads. So it's a very B2C focused, and about 20% or less so was strategically important to create partnership with large organizations. Property managers, universities, property management softwares. So really any company where there's a lot of renters, right? And so our role there was really to uncover and figure out how we can distribute via partnerships. And what partnerships really meant at the time is your simple referral link type of situation, right? You sign a contract with a company, let's say a property management firm that manages a few thousand units nationwide, and you pitch them on the simplicity and the value that this insurance Lemonade would bring, right? Hey, we're a new entrant, our prices are lower, your residents already like us, we can see that. There's people who use us at your organization, at your property, and we can help you with your compliance simpler. And plus, of course, we pay, which is general, right? All insurance companies for renters insurance, when they partner, they would pay the property manager either per quote or per policy basis. You're essentially coming at the market that's already saturated. They already know this. They already have defined partnerships, and you have to figure out how do you switch? How do you make them switch? So you have to have angles there, right? The digital first approach is really good. Faster claims, lower prices, and basically it's a mix of values that hopefully is important to partners. I don't want to get too deep into this, but basically that was the idea, is trying to figure out areas where they might not have that much partners, or Lemonade's values chime well to the property manager at hand.
You just explained how a partnership kind of started and then grew in Lemonade. But like after let's say first year, what was a kind of evolution of the partnerships from referral program? Maybe advanced way to pitch the partnership in the company. What was kind of your learning that you didn't have before?
So I would say it had a really interesting evolution out the 2 years I've been there, from simple kind of Excel tracking of referral links. We grew into the embedded approach, so fully API. So we created an API widget and a whole API page for prospective partners, and we started looking at strategic brands. So Quicken Loans, for example, a lot of fintech apps. Where do young renters live digitally, right? MoneyLion, Acorns, companies that they might use for banking. And renters insurance is a great add-on embedded into that app, because you're a young professional, you're most likely renting, you want to have renters insurance, and you want to have a digital low-cost renters insurance, and Lemonade is a great partner for that. And also the brand between a company like Acorns and Lemonade kind of fits together. So those are the partnership we started moving into. And as we added new products like homeowners insurance, now the whole mortgage world opens, right? So that's why it's a Quicken Loans or any other loan provider. And these types of partnerships are a lot longer tail, more strategic. Signing one deal with a Quicken Loan versus hundreds of property managers is not the same magnitude. So that's kind of how the evolution of partnerships were while I was there.
When you started in Lemonade, right? Lemonade didn't have gravitas of the brand that it has now, and like, how did you pitch your company to potential partners?
Great question. That's kind of the holy grail with all startups, right? How do you make them known when they're unknown, especially in an industry that is very conservative, right? Insurance is not something you wake up with every day, and there's household names already: Geico, Liberty, State Farm, and it's really hard to have a new entrant. There hasn't really been new entrants for decades. So what we used is, it generally resonated well with, the younger people. So property managers that were younger, universities, for example, I found as low-hanging fruit. And what we try to come up with is figure out communities where our renters insurance is already being bought by the consumer. So we can see that on the back end if someone signs up real time, right? And it's a great way to then pitch those communities where I see already that people are buying Lemonade. So Texas, California were two big states for this. And then, of course, after that, it's tricky, because why would they want to switch over, as I said, when they already have a partnership with another company? So there you have to that's where the real sales comes in, the relationship building. You pitch, the value. We're faster, lower price, all digital. We provide you better partner reports. So kind of playing with this mix and trying to figure out what's important for the partner. With the embedded approach that came later, the brand equity of Lemonade already grew. So it was a lot easier. 2 years gone, the company started to have a name in the sector. And there it was a lot more about brand alignment, right? A company like Acorns or MoneyLion, where the consumers are predominantly young, and the whole goal of the company is saving money or financial education. It fits well with an upcoming startup like Lemonade, which whole goal is to help you as a renter to insure your property and save money actually with that.
That is really good insight in terms of like evolution and beginning of the partnerships. And I think what I hear often is that companies typically start by figuring out who are joint clients, right? And if you have, like you just mentioned, if you already have like a potential or like actually existing clients who already buying, it's much easier to persuade partner. Last question about Lemonade. Over your time in Lemonade and sort of starting your career in partnership, like in a big time, did you find any way to speed up either building partner pipeline or speeding up the process of actually from beginning of partnership to closing, which is typically pretty difficult?
Yeah, but I would say it's more the early days, right? The whole referral link type of partnerships, with lemonade.com, and then a partners link, which is kind of often used in these referral types of partnerships. What we started to look at is This strategy works. It's scalable manually. The effort we put in, the more we talk with a given type of client, let's say property manager in this case, the more partnerships we're able to sign. And each partnership has the same kind of process. We talk, we demo, we create the link, and we sign a simple agreement, right? That is about the revenue share. So then we started thinking about, okay, if this can work with effort manually, the same process over and over again, there must be a way we can automate this in a way or scale this 10x. So that was an important kind of strategy we started discussing internally. We started looking at, email campaigns. How can we automate the whole, contract signing, DocuSign? Should we provide partners with the link right away? And then once they're using it and interested, then they come to us. So instead of a push strategy, we started thinking about a pull strategy. How can we mass scale the efforts? How can we let this partnership, this referral renters insurance program be known, and then awaiting people to come to us who are interested about it without, advertisements or anything, but purely LinkedIn, emails, etc. Relying on, where we know communities are already having renters insurance being signed by the customers, the guests or the residents there. So that was kind of a big shift. And again, this is pre-embedded strategies. So this is still just the whole basic referral link partnerships.
Thank you so much for explaining. I think it's been awesome. Moving into like a new era of partnership and embedded strategy, which you mentioned a couple of times. Let me outline my understanding, and I would love to hear like how do you understand embed. Today, with proliferation of API, companies, instead of building the full stack of the products themselves, they essentially embed other services, keeping their own brand, right? They embed other services and they monetize the existing customer base, or they provide richer set of services to existing customer base. And in this way, they get more revenue and they retain customers and they make them happier. Can you explain how you started doing that in Lemonade, how insurance comes to play to other products? And we will move into your current company, which is specifically focused on embedding. So my question is, how embedded insurance work?
The whole embedded world is kind of a trend right now, or in the last few years, started probably with embedded finance, which many times we don't even know that a lot of these products, like let's say you're ordering Uber, you're ordering Starbucks, right? There's a bunch of things that are already embedded and we use it as customers. It's all about convenience, right? People already have trusted brands they use and they like to go to those trusted brands. And when there's a new offer on that trusted brand, if it's an embedded solution, an embedded add-on product, you trust the brand, so you purchase it. With the insurance world, this is the newest kind of distribution strategy, and I would say it's very in early stages. It's the newest trend, and it's supposed to grow, 5-10x in the next 10 years. So it's a really important strategy with the proliferation of APIs. So where the InsurTech space has gotten from the digitization first of, taking agents away, digitizing the quote buying and the claims experience, now we're at a point where how can we embed products into unrelated industries, right? So think of Uber, right? You're an Uber driver, there's an embedded insurance in the app for you, or a rideshare company that you are, for example, an e-scooter, right? There's an embedded coverage for using that e-scooter, or Airbnb, for example, short-term rentals, very prevalent. You're booking a trip and you're covered behind the scenes. Sometimes you don't even need to buy it. Flights is really one of the most classical examples, and we're really strong in the whole travel sector. COVID really made the attach rate skyrocket. Everyone became kind of risk averse because of COVID. People were unsure, if I travel, what's going to happen if there's going to be a lockdown? So the attached travel insurance, medical coverage, lost baggage coverage became kind of more standard than in a few years. And there's a lot of companies that are coming into this space now. So again, this whole embedded insurance is a new distribution trend that's will be growing quite a lot in the next few years.
Completely agree with your point about embed finance. At least people who are laymen and who are on consumer side, they don't see that happening. They don't looking under the hood, right? So you mentioned a couple of big companies, obviously, using it as an example, like Airbnb and airlines and so on. But how big it is, like how really pervasive this is becoming? Can you share a little bit more insights on that?
It's still in its infancy, right? It's really small. I mean, there's only a handful of companies that are de facto embedded insurance providers, and even those are, just a few years old. So Cover Genius, where I'm working now, is one of those. There's a few players in Europe, but it's really early stages, and it's the newest trend. Embedded finance that I kind of touched upon, that's a more mature area, and that's where I would highlight the most similarities with. So embedded insurance, platform as a service, insurance as a service, embedded insurance, these are kind of the new buzzwords. APIs, RESTful APIs, the whole convenience factor. Each company, if you look at industry-wide, different industries, some industries like real estate, which I'm directing at the company, are slower to digitize. Travel, hotel booking, obviously, are super digital. So all these companies are looking for ancillary services, add-ons, if you will, and that's where embedded insurance comes into play. And of course, there needs to be a customer that can be protected, right? Elsewhere, there's no point of even talking about this. And there needs to be an activity or a purchase or a transaction where you can attach protection. Amazon, great partner of ours, very important. You're buying sofa or you're buying furniture, or you're really buying an appliance. You want to have warranty. When Amazon's attaching it in the booking flow, you might not know where it's coming from. You can go into the policy documents, but it's a convenient purchase for you. It's a one click and you're covered for that, let's say, stove. That's convenient for the customer, great for the insurer, and great for the partner. Because they're having a stickier connection to the end customer. Not only does that customer use your platform to buy something, now you have an insurance relationship with them in a way, right? And oftentimes insurance is recurring, renews annually, homeowners, even renters. So there's a lot of interesting trends and value added with the whole embedded insurance world.
Completely agree with you. Recently, Bessemer Venture Partner, which is one of the biggest VCs, right, called this embedding services / indirect monetization as a number one trend. The more and more what we see in general is companies sort of switching to the simple referral partnerships into this much more integrated way for working together. Can you dig a little bit deeper into you as a company, which is Cover Genius? You would provide embedded insurance services to other companies. How the typical cycle looks like? Where do you typically start? And how do you build relationships? How do you build product? And what is the value that you provide for both companies in the end?
This is a great kind of classic discussing partnerships and this new trend of API partnerships. So to start high level, just with the whole insurance framework, you have kind of three players, I would say, of the carriers, the de facto kind of Lemonade, State Farms, the companies that underwrite the policies that create the product. Then you have platforms and technology provider players, and then you have MGAs, which we are, managing general agents, or kind of middlemen, brokers. They're between the carriers and between the end customer or the partner, right? So in this world, the partnership is very interesting because we're partnering on one side with the carrier where we're getting the insurance product from. And we're able to pitch to go to a company and say, hey, we have every insurance product that you might need. We're not an off-the-shelf company. We're not, hey, we have these 5 products, let's partner around one of them. We're able to really be a consultant to that partner and solve a problem that they might not be able to find a solution or don't really even know the solution. So Autodesk is a great example. For example, a company that has a SaaS product and engineers use its software to design buildings or products. It might have insurance carrier relationships on a commercial level, but what if it wants to add insurance to the engineers or the architects who use its program, right? It has millions of customers, but might not know what products are relevant or how can we add this to the digital subscriptions. So that's where embedded insurance would come in, for example, right? Ticketing, another great example, right? You're buying online tickets like a Ticketmaster, for example, and you need missed event coverage or CFAR, cancel for any reason, or even in the travel space. And companies like us that can uncover these product needs and it can meet these product needs by talking with carrier partners can fill this gap. And then comes the technology piece, the whole API and the technology integration. We have a technology called xcover.com. That's really our backbone. That's our distribution platform that sits in the middle and connects the carrier, the product source, to the partner and enable to interface with that via RESTful APIs, microservices infrastructure, and we're able to also service the claims side for the partner. So we're able to really come to a partnership and say, we will be your end-to-end solution for insurance and we'll custom design and integrate those products. Again, just saying out examples like travel products or, ticketing products or real estate products, right? Any type of industry agnostic, we're able to help you. And with this type of flexibility, of course, comes a lot of moving pieces into the partnership. So you asked about how these partnerships are set up. So a lot of, the whole pitching and finding companies is really the whole key here. It's how do you uncover companies that need an embedded insurance solution? So most important, there must be a digital kind of backbone to the partner company, a digital transaction where we can embed into a protection product. And generally, discussions start open-ended. So you're not, selling anyone anything. You're trying to uncover a problem that the company has and find a solution for that. And each partnership is unique. So each time we're innovating in a way, right? And it's very challenging also.
It actually makes a lot of sense. Quick question regarding sort of scalable versus unscalable, right? Like in general, API strategy and embedded sounds like very scalable. At the same time, what you explaining about kind of working more in more sort of integrated way with your partners and actually trying to get to the stage when you have a pull from your partners, right? I think you sort of, you're not pushing your referral links anymore. You're trying to kind of help them to help the customers and kind of earn more revenue. How scalable is that?
Surprisingly, extremely scalable, because what one of the biggest advantages of anything embedded is once the integration happens, once the contracts are signed, even though it's a longer sales cycle, the product, the integration technology is there. It becomes a core part of the partner company. And when you're already in the door, you can then scale into other products. And we're a perfect partner for that. As I said, we're product and industry agnostic. So once we're, let's say, in a travel company and we're providing them flight cancellation, we can then, if the company's need grows into that or new geographies, we can expand into that or expand into new product lines, like let's say a medical coverage or luggage protection. So there's a lot of interesting growth opportunities once a partnership happens. I'd like to say that really the start of the partnership, the integration, is really the beginning of growth. And there's an account management team, a growth team, a partner services team. There's an ongoing support going on. So that's another really key part of these types of embedded partnerships. It's not a sell and forget or set it and forget type of deal. The work really begins once the partnership starts.
It's like an ultimate foot in the door, right? Essentially, you get foot in the door and then you can just expand a lot. That is fantastic.
For example, very innovative in the insurance world, sporting organizations, right? So we talked with one of the largest private sporting organizations that have triathlons, right, globally. They don't have any type of insurance, and the whole sign-up process is digital, but it's via a third-party source. It's a very challenging situation. You have a company that doesn't have insurance ever, but would like to offer, for example, medical coverage for athletes or bike insurance, right? And then you have a registration path that's another company. So now you have to liaise with two separate entities and figure out their pain points for both of them and how you can partner with both of them to deliver an integrated solution.
Ultimately, all partnership revolve around customers, right? So customers should be happy and customers should be more fulfilled, and they would generate more revenue as a result. What is the sort of customer sentiment that you see from embedded services versus old school partnerships?
I don't flow into that much into the customer side, but NPS score as a company, we have really high. So that's generally the net promoter score that insurance companies are measured by. And in insurance, it's really all about claims. So again, I don't flow into more of that, but it's once you purchase that product and something happens to you, will that protection really protect me, right? Will I be able to get my money back, get help from the insurance company? And that all happens digitally. So it's really important to be really fast response times, fast payouts. And, we do it multi-currency, 60 plus currencies. That's the part I see. With the old school referral links, even less insight into how customers appreciate it.
I would imagine that customers actually buy your product through embed much easier, right? And they probably generate recurring revenue for longer for your partners. Is this a dynamic you typically see?
Yeah, and what I would add there is really, what are we trying to solve here, right? We're trying to add ancillary revenue to the partner, but the most important is convenience and helping the end customers. So you're going to your trusted brand like an Amazon, for example, and when insurance is offered in the path, it's super convenient for you, right? You might not have even thought that product exists, that protection product, and you trust that brand. You use it all the time. So it's there for you at the point of sale, and it's convenient to get it. So the customer wins, the partner wins, and ultimately insurance carriers now have a new distribution channel to sell products into.
Quick question regarding distribution channel. Where the partnership sort of embeds sits in your distribution channel? Is it like a front and center of your distribution strategy, or you still do like a multiple channels as a company?
We're fairly simple in this regard. We're at the core, it's all about being embedded. So sometimes there might be like a white label website where, let's say, we design an earthquake coverage. There's in California for small businesses that might have a standalone website, but the data gathering and the conversion, which is an important metric in insurance, is not as high if it's a standalone type of, it's kind of like a referral link, right? Hey, go to this place, buy the product there, versus embedded in path attached to an otherwise already happening transaction. You're buying a flight ticket. The main transaction is the flight. And then embedded insurance is just an add-on. You're booking on Airbnb or on booking.com. The hotel cancellation protection, etc., is an add-on. That's much simpler and higher converting than any type of other relationships that are, referral link in an article.
You partner with multiple pretty phenomenal companies, and that is great. And I think what you mentioned previously about embedding and kind of simplicity, I think Amazon pioneered this one-click strategy, right, a long time ago, and it's still working amazingly well. And I think this move of actually one-click strategy is sort of underestimated by competition, really. And quick question to you, like sort of wearing your strategy hats, which we learned together in the same school. So is this a new age of distribution? Like, how do you think this will unfold in the next couple of years?
Embedded solutions and embedded insurance will be prevalent. It will be the norm, and it is kind of already the norm, right? People always on their phones buying products. E-commerce has skyrocketed during COVID. Delivery services, right? Everything digital. Let me buy it, bring it to me. It's the convenience factor is just going to grow. There's going to be shared, rides. Cars will drive themselves soon now if they're already not. So the whole embedded nature of providing add-on services to an already existing service just makes it more colorful, more convenient for the end customer. It's everyone kind of wins. So I don't see this trend really dying down anytime soon, and it's really only starting in insurance. And again, specifically insurance, what's really key here is these products are generally not, thought of. You don't wake up in the morning thinking about buying insurance. But when it's attached to a transaction, it's a new distribution source for carriers, and also allows a lot of innovating policy developments. You atomize the insurance, bundled, dynamic pricing. All of this is really relevant when it's embedded to an otherwise existing transaction. A different length of a plane ticket, VIP or business class ticket might require different fine-tuned coverages than an economy class, right? So there's a lot of interesting, innovative pricing, bundling, product plays behind the scenes that the customer might not see, but it's driving innovation forward in the industry. And new products can be developed for embedded type of distribution.
Brilliant. I agree that it brings entirely new set of granularities that you can actually go into. It wasn't possible to do before, right? So now you're a director of partnership in Cover Genius. Important question, sort of, there's a new type of partnerships, more technical, more kind of integrated. So what is the type of skills that this require from partnership teams and you as a partnership leader?
It's been a great learning experience, right? And very fortunate to be in the kind of the foray of the InsurTech space. What I've noticed, especially at these cutting edge companies, this type of partnership and the whole kind of pipeline is a lot more complicated than where I came from. So not only do you have to have those two external partners, the carrier and the end partner that you constantly have to liaise with, you now have an internal partnership so-called element. Now you have to work well internally. You have a legal team that you really rely on. The contracting piece with embedded type of partnerships is vital. Everything really is all circles around that contract. It's a B2B partnership, so you're liaising with the other company's legal team. The technology piece, integration, you're doing mock designs first, uncovering the product, then you're pitching an ideal design solution to the partner that require you to liaise well with your internal client solution engineering team or design team. Once these designs and legal documents are, let's say, approved or done, then comes the actual integration. So like there's a lot of tech discussion. You have weekly technology calls, maybe a shared Slack channel, and all behind the scenes is you're kind of the manager behind all of this as the owner of the partnership. And even before all of this begins, you need to uncover, right, the product that the partner might not even know that's their need, and paint a picture and forecast on the revenue opportunities here. So you have a lot of different skill sets you now need to make this partnership happen. You have management skills, forecasting skills, and some type of technology skills to understand the lingo and really be able to articulate to a partner the technology solution coming. And of course, you're helped a lot by everyone on the team, and it's all a team effort. So unlike the B2C sales that I began my career in, that was more of like a solo player, this type of partnerships require a whole team effort.
There's this new embedded solution. How is it winning new partners versus old solution? Because I saw, for example, that one of your previous partner that you, like a lemonade partner called Rhino, they become partner of Cover Genius, and they sort of abandoned partnership with Lemonade. Two-part question. How well is it winning customers, this new approach to partnership which is embed? And does it provide sort of longer, more sustainable revenue for your partners?
This is a really interesting case study. The backdrop here is, I would say, it's a really interesting evolution, right? A company might begin with a referral link type of partnership, and it's a good start, right? But if they're digitizing and their core product lends itself to an embedded solution, then it's usually more optimal. So in this case, is a perfect example. Rhino is a company that provides secure deposit alternatives. You move into an apartment, instead of paying the 1 month security deposit, you can buy a security deposit insurance for, $5-10 a month, and that covers that for the landlord. It's a great way to help renters move into apartments, and it's a perfect twin product for renters insurance, right? You're moving into an apartment, you have a security deposit generally in the US, and you usually are required to show proof of renters insurance. So, and the transaction happens on an app. It's all digital for Rhino. So why wouldn't they embed renters insurance, right, is the question. And because it's a new way of distribution, there's no case studies for this in that industry. But we were able to, show numbers, provide a more advantageous commercial model, and of course, design the whole program fully white label, customized for Rhino. So in this case, it's Rhino Renters Insurance, and our Xcover and Cover Genius Xcover technologies behind the scenes. So it's a really interesting case study in this industry where an embedded solution was able to prove more advantageous revenue-wise and for the customers as well. You can bundle these two products together now as an industry first, the secure deposit alternative and the renter's insurance. And with time, since it's already embedded, the API connection is there. We're gathering data. We know more about the renters. We're able to offer new products down the line. Pet insurance, for example.
The very important point that you mentioned that I didn't underscore before is that the company is not losing the brand, right? Everything this embed is happening under the umbrella.
It all falls under the brand of the original partner, right? You're not trying to add on another brand or a logo. That's really a big selling point for embedded partnerships is, look, we're here to be behind the scenes and develop an insurance capability for you that will drive new revenue and you have a new connection to your customers. That's kind of one of the core tenets of the value proposition with embedded partnerships.
And then the revenue that you get from customer, it is enabled by you as a Cover Genius, but I, as your partners, get this revenue as long as the customer stays your customer, right? It's like a share of revenue.
Exactly. And the customer stays your customer, really, right? So they're part of your platform. They use your platform to purchase. Yes, they purchased insurance that's provided by a carrier in the back end, but it remains your customer. We're not, sharing these customers in any way. We're deriving revenue from all of this, but that's another big value proposition that, if you buy a stove on Amazon and you get that warranty, it's still an Amazon customer, But if they file a claim, they'll interface with us, but even that's a co-branded in a co-branded manner, so they know they're part of Amazon and not the insurance company.
Thank you so much for explaining all of this to us. My very last question, and I'm really excited to see you grow as a partnership leader, moving into more innovative companies which provide more integrated solution. And I think this is the future. In the future, we are currently in the very interesting junction in history when the tech market is sort of slow. But looking into the future for the next several years, what are you excited about?
I'm very excited about anything tech, right? And then specifically, I'm in insurance, so I'm excited more about that. But all of these kind of innovations that are coming online, crypto, new payment strategies, more and more embedded solutions that are making our life simpler. So you're using apps like Airbnb, having new destination experiences. So I really like the innovations that happens with all the digital symbiosis of partnerships. Because at the end of the day, how I look at partnerships, for example, is it's really making new products, covering up new alternatives, and the customer benefits. New things are uncovered that, no one has really thought about. And that's what I'm excited about and working on these partnerships.
Thank you so much, Andy. I look forward to following your success. A lot of people viewing this interview, what is the best way to connect with you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. That's probably the best way, Andy Bodrog.